Hi, I'm JP,
And I am Daniel.
founders of Everyplace, and our goal is to walk you through a safe investment process in Colombia. Here we will be providing tips, relevant info, data, opportunities, and more. Let's get started. So we're here with Neil, who is one of our good investors. Neil, it's nice to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Let's start. So when you first bought your property in Medellin, did you have any concerns as an American buying property internationally?
No concerns, just sort of questions about the process. Having bought investment properties back in the U.S., I understood that it will be a process. Not being from Colombia or Medellin, there were questions about how long the process will take. So there were no concerns per se, just a need to get educated on the process.
So in general, would you say buying property in Colombia is a safe process, and how would you compare it to the US?
So before buying property in Colombia, in Medellin in particular, we did our research, trying to understand the market dynamics, trying to understand simple things like appreciation, rate of return, but also read a lot of the investor blogs and data on the Medellin market, and we were convinced that it was certainly a market that was trending in the right direction.
Mostly positive media.
Mostly positive media. When you talk about Colombia, there's always the history of Colombia that media will bring up. I think you have to experience Colombia and Medellin for yourself to understand what a great city it is, and so we took the opportunity to learn about this city before we actually invested in it.
So you've been a worldwide investor for decades now. What do you think Medellin is? Why do you think Medellin is so special?
So Medellin has a lot of characteristics that anyone who's looking to invest in should take advantage of. So one, there's a very stable government. Colombia has been a democracy forever. Medellin in and of itself is very investor friendly. But it's a short plane ride from the US. So for folks who are living in the United States who don't necessarily want to live in Medellin or Colombia, but want to invest here, understand that it's really easy to get to. There's a lot of transparency in the real estate market here. It's as sophisticated as the American real estate market, but maybe a few exceptions. And so I would say kind of do your homework before you invest, but know that you're investing in a stable economy and a growing economy that's Colombia.
What about the people, the ambience, where you perceive the special magic that everyone talks about?
So there are a lot of Americans and Europeans that not just invest but live in Medellin. I think for me, when we were looking for a place where we could likely retire, we thought of a number of places: Portugal, Colombia. Medellin is special. It is, as the name suggests, spring year-round. But the food, the culture, it mirrors or rivals many developed cities in Europe and North America. So for me in particular, the food and the culture is what puts it over the edge.
Moving on to Everyplace, in what ways has our team helped you?
So Everyplace has been instrumental in us being here in Colombia, in Medellin, in owning the property, from finding the right place, which we totally love, to helping us maximize the value of it. Everyplace is the organization that we've turned to actually market and rent our property when we're not here. The level of service is, I would say, equal to the level of service that we have for other properties in the United States. The attention to detail has been fantastic, and just the follow-up, particularly by the folks who manage the property on a day-to-day basis, has been fantastic. I would highly recommend Everyplace. If you're looking for someone to manage your property in the US, in Medellin, certainly Everyplace is the place for you.
Last question. Would you recommend other fellow Americans to look for investment opportunities in Medellin?
So I think my wife and I have been some of the biggest ambassadors for Medellin. We have recommended all of our friends and family to not just come and visit Medellin, but to invest in Medellin. Some have taken advantage of the opportunities that have been presented by Everyplace to them. And so, yes, we will definitely recommend not just Everyplace, but Medellin.
All right. Thank you, Neil.
You're welcome.
We're glad to have you as part of our community.
We're happy to be part of your community.